Hey there, in today's episode I wanted to try something new by making POV video of my photography. But in this video I'll not only show you the process of shooting, but also share my thoughts about each shot and how I approached taking it. Additionally, I'll be shooting in quite an interesting, at least for me, location, a cemetery. I usually never go to cemeteries, let alone take images there, but I noticed that this particular cemetery recently started to bloom with blue flowers, and I thought it would look nice in images. So I grabbed my Fujifilm X-T30 Mark II with the XC15 45mm lens and went for a photo walk. If you're curious to see the images and how I took them, stick around and feel free to share your thoughts at any point during the video. So I wanted to start with the basics. Since there are lots of pathways in the cemetery, I decided this scene could be a nice starting point. Actually, as it is now, it could make a nice picture with objects on the left and right separated by the pathway in the middle of the frame. A horizontal frame would work better because with a vertical shot more trees go into the frame, which doesn't look nice since the trees still don't have leaves. But zoomed in there will be better focus on the pathway, excluding other objects as distractions from the sides. Next I found this spot with lots of small blue flowers that I wanted to capture. I squatted down so I could reach those flowers closer, and then I noticed that from a lower angle there is a nice background with various tombstones. I picked the best looking flower and captured just it, then with the tombstones in the background being out of focus, and then also with the background in focus, making the flowers in the foreground out of focus. In my opinion, vertical composition worked here very well also. Then there was another pathway that I tried to take a photo of. It wasn't as straight as previous one, so I wanted to place it more to the left side of the frame. But in this shot, an object on the right grabbed too much attention in my opinion. So I settled with a vertical shot, eliminating that object as much as possible. Also, now it is easier to remove a few objects that in my opinion are unnecessary in this scene, which makes the final shot more cohesive. Here I stumbled upon those yellow flowers that pop in this environment. Again, as you see, the frame now makes a good composition. We have a fence in the foreground that focuses our attention towards the flowers in the middle of the frame. Also, there are tombstones in the background, so we have lots of dimensions in this composition. And that pop of yellow feels like a glimpse of hope in grey surroundings, which actually makes a good metaphor for life in general. Then also a vertical frame looks well here too, and I made a shot from the side as well. Then I found glasses lost by someone, and I thought this would make a great story in the image because it seems that those glasses have been here for a while. It makes you think whether someone just lost them or if they belong to someone who was buried here not long ago. I took a few shots here, one keeping the glasses at the bottom of the frame with tombstone in the background to make it clear where the image is taken. Then I made a close-up shot placing the glasses on the left side of the frame and including a crack on the right that I thought would fit the overall scene. Lastly, I made a vertical shot where you would look at the glasses first, then the blue flowers higher up, and finally notice the tombstones on top, helping you understand what the environment actually was. Next I stopped near this graveyard, and it caught my eye because it has this metal fence, or how would you call this construction? From the outside it looked quite depressing, like someone not only had died and been buried here, but also was locked inside this graveyard. But then I came closer and showed the tombstones so the flowers would be in the foreground, which completely changed the overall feel of the scene, making it more hopeful. And then I also took a few close-up shots of the flowers. Then I went down the hill a bit and noticed this scene with interesting tombstones. My attention was caught by the closest one because it was also kind of locked in from the sides compared to those that were in the background. I thought this composition would look nice with the main object in the front in the middle and then with the other objects in the background, which makes you look and discover each one. After that, I returned to the main field of the cemetery and started to look around to find interesting scenes to capture. First, I took this image with the wall on the right and the tree on the left, which feels like you are peeking from behind a building. Then there was a woman walking by and I snapped a vertical shot. It would have been great if there wasn't a building in the background that ruins the whole feel of the scene. So I waited and snapped another horizontal shot with another person walking by, placing her to the side of the frame so the viewer could follow her trajectory towards the left side of the frame. Also, the person nicely pops in between all those crosses being all over the place. Then I found this tombstone that I liked how it blended in with all those flowers around. This scene gives a feeling of antique times, that this tombstone was here for several hundred years already and finally blended in and became part of the environment instead of standing out like the place where a person was buried. The only thing I didn't like were a few objects around that grabbed attention from the main object of the photo. So I decided to come closer, zoom in a bit, take a lower angle, and then in Photoshop remove those objects from the right that distracted the attention so the final image would look cohesive. After that, I found this cross that barely stuck out from the ground and also felt like it had been here for a very long time. I thought it would look nice in the image being surrounded by all those tiny flowers. So I squatted down and first took this vertical shot, placing the cross on top of the frame, creating this feeling like it's drowning into a sea of blue flowers. Additionally, I made a horizontal shot, placing the cross more towards the right side of the frame. With Photoshop, I removed a few dry sticks that were sticking out of the ground and cluttered the image. At my last spot, while I was scouting the scene, I liked how the pathway curved. I noticed someone coming from behind me. I turned around and took a photo of this person walking towards me. But I didn't really like this image because all the tombstones in the background doesn't look cohesive. However, when he passed me, I turned around again and waited until he walked a bit further. Then I took this vertical shot that I really like. His red hoodie pops very nicely in this overall greenish bluish environment, and also the tombstones on this side of the scene look way better. Here you have it, that was my shooting process in the cemetery. It was my first time shooting there, but since it bloomed so nicely, I couldn't skip it and went there. Maybe it would have been more interesting if there was sun that day, but still, I think the images turned out nice, with that grey and sad feel which was compensated with those blooming tiny blue flowers that brought a feel of hope to the environment and the images. Overall, it was quite interesting experience, philosophic I would even say, makes you think about life more. Let me know how you like this video and whether I should do another one like this where I would share my thought process on how I take my images. Share your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my future videos. Keep your heads up, have a nice day and keep shooting. Bye!